recipient of the Husband of the Year award.
Unfortunately, Sarah drew the line at me bringing the GoPro inside the delivery room.
You're welcome for that. On December 29th, I gave birth to our second daughter, Brooke, and life has been pretty crazy ever since.
That's true. We have been staying up late, partying, popping bottles left and right, and really just enjoying living in the moment.
It's been 7 months since episode 2 came out, and you just saw the biggest life change. But a lot of other things have happened since then, too.
While Sarah was busy making a human being, I was out there selling all the houses.
So in this episode, we will bring you up to speed with where the Richmond real estate market is currently at and what we have been up to.
Plus, we're going to bust out our crystal ball and give you our predictions for 2023. And we'll end with Realtor Rant 2. Say It Isn't Zillow.
Since the last episode, interest rates pretty much doubled, which has had interesting ripple effects across the market. Over the last 7 months, a loan for $400,000 has increased in monthly payment by about $780, which definitely took a bite out of the market.
Multiple offers decreased as some buyers were priced out of the market entirely, and others decided to sit out for a while to see what rates would do.
During that time, inspections came back and we were able to flex our negotiating muscles again, getting houses for under asking price and other times getting some seller closing costs for our buyers. It was almost like a return to normal.
We've also started working in the $1 million plus luxury market more and more often. And that is a really fun price point to work in here in Richmond because $1 million will get you a ridiculously nice house. And it's always a humbling experience showing them.
In a time when many other realtors' sales fell off a cliff, we stayed slammed, helping so many people relocate to Richmond. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but we sold a total of $30 million in real estate in 2022.
And I landed in the top 100 realtors in Richmond out of almost 5,000. Honestly, specializing in relocation has been one of the best decisions we've ever made. If you think about it, rates went up everywhere across the board. But if you're moving here from a higher cost of living area where homes are 2 to 3 times more expensive than Richmond, it feels like a bargain.
We have helped a ton of first-time home buyers from places like DC, California, and New York who were priced completely out of their local market, but were finally able to make the dream of home ownership come true here in Richmond.
2 other changes to the market that occurred due to the higher rates were, 1, new construction sales came to a grinding halt in the summer of 2022.
Buyers were nervous to sign a contract to build because the risk was too high. Price increases, building delays, plus the unknown of what interest rates were going to be by the time the house was done.
And home builders were slow to react to the market, so it took them a while before they lowered base prices and brought incentives back.
The other change in the market due to interest rates had to do with inventory. The higher rates gave any would-be move-up homebuyer second thought because it would be a double whammy. Not only would they be purchasing at a higher price point, but because of the interest rates, their new payment would be much higher than they're currently paying.
Looking back, the second half of 2022 was perhaps the closest we saw to a buyer's market in years, but it was relatively short-lived, and that brings us to where the market is at today.
Right before Thanksgiving, inventory began to turn and continued a downward trend through the end of the year, and that trend is continuing right now.
So here it is, middle of January, and it feels incredibly similar to this same time last year. I showed this house in Glen Allen to a relocation client moving here from Florida. It's a bit of a unicorn for the area given that it's newer construction built in 2019. Before any interior pictures were even uploaded to MLS, it already had 15 showings booked on it. Once professional pictures were uploaded, that number jumped to 36 showings. I did a virtual showing to our clients to preview it, and they loved it, so they flew into town the next day to come see it in person. While they were in town, I also showed them a nearby house for sale in Gray Oaks and another one in Halsey. The Gray Oaks home was gigantic, with just under 6,000 square feet and a price tag to match at $1.25 million. While it did have one of the most picturesque backyards you'll find in the Glen Allen area, you could feel its age inside even though it was only 12 years old. And more importantly, it was more space than what they needed. After that, I showed them an absolute stunner in Halsey. This was a custom-built home from 2017 featuring amazing curb appeal, beautiful detailed trim work, a screened-in porch, tons of natural light, and open concept living in one of the best neighborhoods around Richmond. But after seeing those two, they realized the first one in Glen Allen, the one they flew into town for, was the one for them.
We ended up competing against 10 other offers, but Taylor and I adapted and thrived during the crazy competition in the housing market over the past few years. It's been a long time since we lost a multiple offer scenario, and I'm happy to say that our clients got the house.
This past week, I did another virtual showing for a California client for a home out in Woodlake. After less than 24 hours on the market, it was halfway booked with showings for the whole weekend. And by the time Saturday rolled around, it was completely and totally booked. I was only able to get a 45-minute showing on Sunday morning, and that was it. I tried to talk our clients out of seeing it for two reasons. The first was the siding was hardboard siding, which is the highest maintenance siding you can find. Secondly, given the level of competition, I was predicting the winner would more than likely be waiving their right to do an inspection. And Woodlake and Brandermill are not the neighborhoods to do that in because the homes there are plagued with foundation problems due to shrink swell soil. Plus, given the age of the homes, there are other maintenance issues to worry about.
But our clients insisted on seeing it, so we stepped correct and we brought an inspector with us to check out the home during the showing, which ended up being a waste of time and money.
I got there before the inspector, and within 2 minutes, I knew it was a no-go. Walking around the outside of the home, I could see evidence of major settlement all around the perimeter of the home. Underneath the screened-in porch, there was a section of brick that was really bad, and inside the crawl space, there were settlement cracks all around the foundation, some of which were also really bad. Stepping inside, you could see all of the drywall cracks above the door frames, along the walls, and you could feel how uneven the floors were around the house. So we told our clients, this one's a no-go. Don't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
I really worry that some poor first-time homebuyer is going to lose their shirt on this one because inside it looked completely move-in ready, and the design choices and finishes definitely elicit that emotional response of I want it, I want to win. And if they were working with an agent who was also distracted by how pretty it was, or an inexperienced agent who didn't know to check out the foundation, that buyer might be in trouble.
I actually posted this one on social media, comparing the interior pictures I took with the exterior foundation and crawl space issues that I found, and a local realtor that I know reached out to me saying, I need to be careful what I post, because it could just be normal settlement, and that I'm not an inspector and I should stay in my lane.
Now, she didn't know that Taylor brought an inspector with him, but we don't need to give away all of our secrets.
My immediate thought was, yeah, you enjoy telling your buyers it could be nothing. I would rather tell our clients to save their time and money for another home. If it were me, I would avoid this one.
That home is now under contract, and we will be watching to see if it comes back on the market or not.
Given how hot the resale market is right now, the new construction market has bounced back in a big way. We have been on a tear with new construction sales since December, given the lack of interesting resale inventory on the market.
Plus, builders have finally lowered base prices and brought back incentives, at least for the time being. This past week, we have sold 2 different to-be-built homes to relocation clients in the newest section of Harper's Mill, Fawnwood. One client is building the Roanoke floor plan by Eastwood Homes, and the other is building the Augusta floor plan by Main Street Homes, which is actually the same house that we live in.
While I was in Harper's with our clients, the model homes were slammed with people walking in, and the new section had a ton of people driving around looking at the available lots.
Every site agent we talk to says the same thing. New construction sales were picking back up quickly, and we have seen it firsthand. We have 5 other relocation clients under contract on new constructions right now, and a bunch more coming into town to explore building options in February.
So, let's get our fortune teller on. Here are our predictions for the real estate market in 2023.
Our first prediction is that the market will remain competitive over the next few months. Since rates have dampened selling interest, the most likely homeowners that are going to be selling this year will be those who truly need to.
Big life changes are usually what cause somebody to sell their home. Marriage, birth, death, divorce, and job transfer/relocation. Those are going to be the majority of sellers. And based on what we've seen in the marketplace, it rings true.
And for every house that gets multiple offers, there are multiple losers, which means the same buyer pool will continue to compete against each other until one by one, they're all under contract on a home.
Given the lack of inventory over the winter market and holiday season, it will take some time to ease up that backlog of buyer demand.
Our next prediction is that late spring, summertime will be the best time to buy a home, at least as it relates to competition. Historically, this is the time when inventory levels are the highest and buyers' interest is divided amongst various homes. We expect that trend to continue this year, but the big unknown is how high the peak of inventory will go, and of course, what will interest rates be at the time.
Our last prediction is that there's no market crash, unless one or both of these two things occur. First, if interest rates hit the high 7s or above, that will definitely soften the market. Or, if massive layoffs occur, people who can't make their mortgage payment will need to sell prior to going into foreclosure, which could increase inventory.
But real talk, we never recommend to time the market because no one really knows what's going to happen.
What we do recommend is to make sure you are comfortable with your monthly payment and don't take on anything that will cause you financial burden.
Renting is better than stressing yourself out over making a payment that you can barely afford. We typically work with buyers about 4 times as often as we work with sellers, but it still absolutely burns us up when we see someone hire a terrible listing agent.
So, now we bring you Realtor Rant 2, Say It Isn't Zillow. These are all real pictures from listings in the Richmond area, and I just don't understand why these listing agents weren't immediately fired when the owners saw these pictures online.
First up is this one, and it starts off okay, but then you get to the third and fourth picture and you see where we're going with this.
This next one, okay, I get it. The house is in terrible shape, but why do you need this sixth picture? We already know that it's in bad shape, so why take a picture of drywall on the floor?
Now, this next agent must have been in a hurry because they didn't have enough time to even take a cell phone picture that was in focus. And again, why bother taking a picture of the floral print chairs and fireplace? Surely there was something else worth showing instead of that.
So, all you terrible agents out there, do us all a favor and at least turn the phone sideways when you're taking pictures.
Then, here is a picture of a front door and 2 ladders. Thanks, that's great. And it's immediately followed by a picture of a corner of a room. Who knows what room, but it has a good corner, so that's good.
Now, this next agent really gets it. You know what people want more than professional pictures with wide-angle lenses to show a whole room at once? A bird's eye view of rooms around the house. Can you imagine how ridiculous this agent must have looked standing on top of the ladder or on the kitchen countertops to get these angles?
Maybe they were marketing to NBA players who are 7 feet tall?
Maybe. This next one is just unfortunate and not the agent's fault. But when I saw it, I thought, oh, good God. Yeah, this home doesn't need an inspector, it needs a priest.
I'm curious if those chairs stacked themselves on the table or not. In the description, it should say totally not haunted.
Totally, we promise. This one is great. Immediately off the bat, I'm curious if the car comes with the house or not. But what really got me was the picture of the TV in the living room. His face says it all.
And fun fact, when Chuck Norris buys a house, the realtor pays him a commission.
Now, we get it. Sometimes realtors can't control how a house looks, and we've had listings like that before. But even for our massive fixer-uppers, we still hire a professional photographer and do a video walkthrough because it's in the best interest of the seller. So come on, Richmond agents, you can do better.
Well, that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed episode 3 of Selling RVA.
Making these episodes and editing it all ourselves is a massive undertaking, so please let us know if you like this and leave us a comment if you want to see more in the future.
We have a bunch of other great videos for our channel coming soon, so be sure to subscribe.
And if you're thinking about buying or selling a home in the Richmond area, be sure to hit us up. We have the experience and knowledge to help make your move as stress-free and easy as possible.
Thanks for being here with us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.